Hello everybody and welcome to the video. If you are new here, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. And I want to thank you for your patience and understanding while I took a bit of a break from making videos. Sometimes I just feel like I need a break. It doesn't feel natural to make videos. I feel like I might be forcing it, and so I just stop. But I want to make this video for you. I'm feeling really good and excited to go again with videos. Now this video is going to be the final video answering questions that I asked for months ago. And these questions cover the emotional side of van life. So all the questions you had about feelings with van life. But first, let me show you where I am. So I am in Bothwell in Tasmania, and I am at the Mount Adelaide Lookout, and I have come here to paint. So at the moment I've just started a 6-week house sit, and my goal is once a week to get out to a nearby town and do some plein air painting, some painting on location. Now because it is summer and there is a sun rating of 10 today, I'm painting in the van, but I have the door open and I'm trying to do a landscape so I can see outside, and you can see Abby is keeping guard. So let me talk to you while I do this painting and answer your questions. Now I want to let you know that first of all, I'm painting on canvas, an actual canvas for the first time ever. And secondly, I'm going to try and do this all with palette knives. So again, something I've never done, and so I'm really challenging myself to try new things and to learn new techniques and just expand my skills as an artist, which is rapidly expanding. I'm still very new at this, but I'll let you know how I go. So first of all, let's get to the first question. I have the questions here on the laptop. So let me read you out the first question. It says, do you ever feel a little lost or apprehensive? That is, where to go next or whether to stay where you feel comfortable. By apprehensive, I don't mean feeling scared for your safety, more like, do you wonder if you are making the right move or choice and if the time is right? Or is it an adventure and you roll with it and make the most of it and turn it into a learning experience? I know nothing is guaranteed, but I just wonder if these decisions cause you anxiety. I have butterflies in my stomach just thinking about heading off, a mixture of the unknown and the excitement of new experiences. Wow, that's a big question. Okay, I'm going to try and paint and answer your question at the same time about the emotional side of van life. I will show you bits of my painting as I go. I'll try and remember. So this question is a lot about how to decide where to go, when to go, what to do. This has changed a lot for me. I've been doing this for 5 years, and if you read my most recent blog post, which is on my website and my newsletter, you can sign up for that. I am currently rethinking how I do that. So it's changed as I've changed, but one thing that I can recommend, one thing that I've learned really works, is to go with my gut, is to go with how I'm feeling. I find if I have to be somewhere at a certain time, on a certain day, that I just don't enjoy the travel as much. I find it very restricting when I can't follow my heart, follow my gut. The other thing I do really like to follow, if anyone's watched me, is the weather. I'm really into the nice weather. So that will dictate my travel a lot. Recently, I chose to ignore the weather because I really wanted to do the south coast of Victoria, and I have never managed to do that, and the weather was pretty shocking. It was quite cold a lot of the time and rainy and windy, but I'm really glad I did it. I'm really glad I did it. And there was a point where I had enough. I had planned to keep going, and I was like, I've had enough. I need to head north to better weather. And I did. So when I knew I had enough, I listened to myself and I went. I missed out on catching up with somebody I wanted to catch up with, but I couldn't do it anymore. I was like, no, I'm at my wit's end. I don't want this to be unpleasant. And so I moved. And I find that works for me. So what works for you, I don't know. Like sometimes I'll feel I need comfort and I'll want to stay in a caravan park, which is like a 5-star hotel for me. If anyone else has ever watched my videos, I'll talk about that. Or sometimes I may do something like I'm doing now. I'm doing a house sit, and that gives me, I'm doing a house sit. First of all, it's a beautiful rural location. It is for one of the viewers here. Hello, Amanda. And I'm using it as an opportunity to paint as much as possible, which is something I really wanted to do. And I had actually been visualizing painting in Tasmania with the hills and the landscape. Was visualizing it for months and months and months when Amanda reached out to me and said, if you're coming to Tasmania, would you like to house sit? And so my visualization came true, and I'm doing it. I'm making it happen though. I'm getting out and doing it and making it happen. So I'm using that for that specific reason. I want to paint as much as I can while I have space. I have a house. Amanda has an art desk I can use. While I have those facilities, I want to maximize that. So you do different things for different reasons. There's not just one fits all the time. That's been my experience. And again, like I recently did a big, like it was 2 months of full travel. From WA all the way across the Nullarbor, across South Australia, Victoria, up into New South Wales. I travelled pretty well non-stop for 2 months, and I'm good now for a while. I don't want to travel too much. I'm in Tasmania for the summer. Tasmania is not very big, and I'm happy just to potter around Tasmania for that time. And then after that, I may want to do another big trip. You just need to work out how you feel at the time, what you want to do. There's just no right or wrong, and just have to learn to go with it. And one of the other things I have is I have a place, usually always have a place where I feel really safe and comfortable. And when the world gets too overwhelming, I can go there. And I have that place now in pretty well every state that I've been to. I have a place like that. Once I find a place, I'll go back to it. So yeah, you'll find that you'll find a place where you feel safe, where you feel comfortable, where you can relax and recharge, and that's where you'll go. So yeah, I hope that answers the question. Also, I'm not on holidays. I'm not trying to do a big lap. I'm just living my life. So that I think will vary as well, depending on what your goal is for van life. You know, and like my goal has changed. You'll go through different periods. I wanted to spend more time meditating and personal development growth, which I did. I did a lot of that in the first year. And yeah, it just changes. But the more you go out of your comfort zone, the more you go somewhere new, the more you try something, the more confident you'll become on doing things and working it out. I'm going to show you how this is going. I'm not sure. We're trying to making clouds, so I'm using my palette knife, and I'm trying to make a big bank of clouds up here now. I don't know if I can film and paint at the same time. But yeah, I am kind of following a reference photo a little bit for this. And like I said, making this up as I go along. And this is just kind of getting the background down. But, you know, we've got... Does it look like clouds to me? I've got the idea. I'm getting the gist down, and then we'll work it out from there. So even with my painting, I just work it out as I go along. I'll work it out, you know, or I won't. It's only paint in a canvas. I'll work it out or I won't, but you don't know if you don't try. I think that's all I got to say on that. I really hope it helps. Push yourself a little bit every now and then. Go out of your comfort zone. Your confidence will build. Have a safety zone where you're like, I need to go back there. I can rest, recharge, and expect that it will change the longer you do van life. Your needs will change. How you want to do things will change. Remember the number one rule I say, there is no right or wrong way to do this. Do what works for you. Do what you can accept. Do what makes you feel comfortable. Do what you want to do. It's your life. All right? There's no right or wrong. It's okay.
Hello, this is Editing Brenna here. I just want to make a point. I comment here that I'm using a reference photo. So I may have confused some people because I said I'm painting on location and I'm using a reference photo. So let me explain. So we're at a lookout, and what I did was I went around to different points on the lookout because it kind of goes around a circle, and I took reference photos from different locations, and I'm creating my landscape painting based on different aspects of that. So I'm using the sky from one photo, the mountains from another. One of them has a lake, and then a red house in another. So I'm kind of putting together 4 or 5 reference photos to summarize the actual whole lookout. So that is what I'm talking about when I say I'm looking at reference photos. All right, back to the video.
This is quite challenging because my reference photos are on my phone and I'm videoing on my phone. So it's a bit challenging. I have to keep going back to look at it. But I'm just decided, I had a look at the photo, and I'm going to add some more splodges of clouds. And we're going to go round. So this is going to go here. We're going to do a round splodge there. Yeah, I'm just such a technical painter. Are you ready? We'll do another splodge here. See? Looks like a cloud, doesn't it? It actually does. That should be round, I think. Make this more round. I don't know. Actually, I really like how that's coming out. I really like it. I think I need to get a little bit of white all over the blue. I don't want any solid blue. But I really like how that started. I'm going to leave that as the base layer. Oh, hang on, I need to fix up this top right hand corner needs fixing. It's got a solid line on it. Let's mix that up a bit. So I do paint like I kind of live life. Have a go, see if you like it or not. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science, you know? It's not. And again, with painting, here's what I'm going to say. A lot of people aren't going to agree with me. There's no right or, well, my whole purpose of painting is to have fun and enjoy it, and that's what I do. So to me, there's no right or wrong. If I'm having fun, if I enjoy it, if I like it, that's all that matters to me, because life's too short to worry about the rules and what other people think. All right, I really like how that came out. I really like how this is going. Almost. Hang on, this is just still too solid there. All right. Need to change palette knives, and I'll show you where I'm going to leave the sky, and I'll get to the next question. I don't think there's that many questions on here. I know, sorry, it's a bit dark, isn't it? It's a bit dark. It's overcast today, which is really nice. All right, let's have a look at this. We'll flip you around. I want to get this going more like this with this knife to make it going down a bit. Make it look like this is coming down here. There you go. Yeah, and just, this is not a painting tutorial. All right, we've got to start on the sky. All right, I'm going to get to the next question. What's your biggest concern when living on the road? Health, security, safety, money, etc. All right, let me think about that while I get out the paint for the mountains. And I want to show you all my paints I'm using here. So this was a Liquitex, it was 72 paints I think I got for $50. And I just really like having all these different colors and things. So yeah, that's how I've had these for a while actually. I am trying to use up all my paints as well in this 6-week painting stint. But it's the first time I'm really using these. So let's find a color for the mountains. I'm thinking I want to mix a color. The mountains are in that background. I think I'm going to go a grey green. I don't know. Should we mix? I'm just having a look at them out there. I think blue is better. I think a grey blue would be a good idea. I could mix silver. This is called a neutral grey, and I think I might do the neutral grey. I don't know. The question, what's my biggest concern on the road? I don't think I have any concerns. I don't really have any concerns. If you ask me what my biggest concern in life is that I don't live each day to the fullest because I don't know if it's my last day. That bothers me. If I feel like I've wasted a day, which happens if I get stuck on my phone sometimes, or when you get sick, I feel like I don't do the best with that. But I don't have any concerns for any of those things. I don't have any concerns, but I'm proactively working on all of those things. My safety, my finances, my health. I'm proactively work on that, so I don't have to worry about it because I take action to ensure that's the best it can be. My other concern is just that I don't live each day to the fullest. I don't almost fulfill my potential for each day. What can I do in that day? What does that day have to offer? Now, sometimes that day might be just sitting and reading a book, but if that's what that day had to offer, I want to make sure I did it, that I didn't waste it scrolling on my phone. I didn't waste it doing things I don't want to do. I didn't waste it interacting with people I don't want to interact with just to be polite and to be nice. I'm letting go of that. I'm letting go of having to be nice and polite all the time. I think it's ingrained in females from an early age that you should just be polite and be nice. And I'm like, no, I've stopped doing it. I'm not rude, but I will not engage with people I don't want to engage with. So I don't have any concerns, to be honest, but again, proactively work on everything. I manage my finances really well. I have a budget. I work hard to make money. I focus on my nutrition and my exercise for my health. Sleep is very important. Safety, I'm very safety conscious. That's my number one thing. I'm always safety conscious. So yeah, if you do those things, then you don't have to worry about it. I made a decision on the mountains. I'm just going to go grey for the base layer to kind of get them drawn in. I don't know if this is how you're supposed to do this, but again, is there any right or wrong way? There might be ways people do it, and the way I do it might be very different. But who's to say it's wrong? Because didn't every painting technique get invented by somebody? Somebody had to be the first. That's what I'm sticking to. So somebody had to be the first to do it. There you go. Maybe this technique will be known as Brenna's technique. I crack myself up. Is Brenna's technique in the future, There you go. I could be the first to invent a new painting technique. I really doubt that's likely to happen. I'm pretty sure, I don't know where I put the grey paint now. I'm pretty sure that every technique that could be done has been done. But you never know, do you? You never know. This could just be Brenna style. This could, actually, I really like this, to be honest. I really like this grey. I'll show you what I'm doing. I really like this grey with this blue, so I'm not hating it. And I'm just really trying to get an outline of my mountain. Just trying to get an outline of where the mountain's going to go in the background. Yep, I'm going to make that go up a bit more there. Yep, that's good. That's actually the shape of the mountain. Sorry, can you even see? All right, I like that. And then I think what I'm going to do is do a second layer. I'm going to need that to dry off a bit. Need to get that there. Now all you professional artists are probably going crazy, but that's all right. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a second row that's going to be mounted slightly closer. So it's going to be a bit more greeny grey, I think, to show that it's closer. If you look at the distance when you're driving, look at mountains or hills, and you'll see the ones furthest back are lightest in grey, and then as things get brighter and darker as they get closer to you. I believe that's true. All right, let's get to the next question. All right, I had to take a break because the phone was dying. I had to charge it. And in the meantime, I got a couple more layers. I don't really like these colors, I'll admit, but I'm just trying to get down where it's going to go, and I can go over that and change it. But we need to get to the next question, and let me see if I can get this up. How do I think van life has changed me spiritually, emotionally, etc.? Now, I think I've doubled up on this question. I do believe I already answered this before, in another Q&A, but in case you're new here, I'm going to answer it again. And I actually wrote a blog post about this. So in my blog, I share all of my personal thoughts and the questions, things I'm going through. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, I recommend you go check out the website. The link is in the description box below here. And also I do a weekly newsletter. If you want to keep in touch with me when I do disappear from videos, I have not skipped a newsletter yet. You'll be able to have an idea where I'm at, what's going on. And I also share my artwork on there. Anyway, what I talked about in that blog post was that van life didn't change me, but it gave me the opportunity to change. It gave me the time to change and to work on what I wanted to work on. So, excuse me, eyes. I have changed a lot since living in the van, definitely spiritually, and I've gone through a lot of emotional healing. But because I had the time, I was able to cut down to part-time work and really reduce my hours because my expenses went right down, and I chose to do that. And so, I did a lot of work spiritually. I did the Eckhart Tolle School of Awakening in my first year of the van, which was like an 8-month course. And that really, really helped me change and work on my stuff. And it was a big catalyst for everything that was to follow. Because I can get out in nature as much as possible, I do that. That's very calming. It's very healing. It inspires creativity. And because I can get away from people, people are hard, people are challenging, people can be toxic. So I'm able to get away from people and spend time on my own, which I really enjoy, or spend time with just people that I just like. I'm away from the hustle and bustle of society and that constant bombardment. When I go back into civilization, as I call it now, it's like sensory overload for me. I really struggle with it. So I guess like my point to this is, I have changed a lot since living in a van, but it's not because I live in a van. That just gave me the time and the opportunity for the space to do it. I have maximized my time in the van for personal growth and healing. And if you can't live in a van, you can still maximize your time to do that. You can still get out in nature as much as possible. You can still avoid toxic people as much as possible, stay away from crowds as much as possible. You can reduce your expenses and reduce your working. My advice to my younger self, if I could go back, would be work less, live more. Buy less, live more. We only get one go at this life. So yeah, there are different ways you can do it without living in the van. But a van, living in the van, cutting my hours, being able to get out to nature, things like that, it has really helped. I'm trying to decide what's next on the canvas painting, and I think the bottom half is going to be bushes, and then I have a house in there with a red roof I really like. But I think the bottom is going to be bushes. So that's going to be some interesting techniques with the palette knives. I'm going to use some different greens, and I actually have a few different greens here. Not as many as I'd like. I have more. Oh no, I've got some there. Phthalo green. So the bushes are going to be green, and yeah, let's get some different greens down. Let's see if we can get some bushes here, and then when this is dry, I can come in with details. I still need to get some trees in the foreground and things like that, and whatever. This is just the first base coat, which is it's just an experiment for me, just an experiment. So what have we got here? This one is called Hooker's Green Hue. We'll get a bit of that out. We're going to use some yew, and I'm going to use a deep green permanent, and we'll just put some yew down. I like those dark ones. I'm going to get some of this light green permanent, and I might just stick with those three for now. I think I'll stick. I'm going to add a little bit of the thylacine green, because this is actually quite a Australian colour, if you ask me. Australian, it's almost turquoisey, and Australian, a lot of the leaves are very turquoisey. All right, I've got my palette. I've got my paint palette, and now we're going to see what we're going to do. So the bushes are going to kind of go all around here. You can see I've sketched in my red roof house and a little shed. And then there's lots more to go in here, which hopefully you'll see the finished product on another video or on my newsletter. I show my artwork. So this is my first time trying this, and it's quite enjoyable. I'm getting tired because it's a lot of thinking for me. And I think I have one more question on the video. One more question I think was, I remember what it said. It said, do I get lonely and do I have children? I don't get lonely and I don't have children. Does that answer that question? All right, we've got some different shaped palette knives here to make some bushes. So I don't have children. I consciously chose not to have children. Made that from an early age for family kind of reasons. But I don't get lonely, and I have to put this into context for people, because I have spent most of my life on my own. From an early age, from 18, I was forced out of home and had to live on my own and fend for myself. And I just learned to be self-sufficient. I was married for 7 years. I was in a relationship for 10 years, and that was an abusive relationship. And I probably spent most of that time on my own. And I definitely spent the 17 years before I moved into the van in a house on my own. So it's different for me than if you're coming from, say, being in a relationship with somebody else, and maybe your partner has passed or something like that, or you had children and you're used to having children around, and I don't know, maybe your parents, I don't know. I've not had that situation. I've been estranged from my family for a while, and yeah, I'm used to being on my own, so I don't get lonely. I think to me, that's the reason why. I really enjoy my own company. I speak to people regularly, so it's not like I don't talk to people. I will phone my sisters, my friends on a regular basis, daily. I will speak to people. So living in a van doesn't mean you never speak to anybody. It doesn't have to be that. I don't get lonely, but my situation in my life is different to a lot of people's, and I understand that. I understand that. So I don't know what what your situation would be like. All right, that's the end of the questions. Let me show you what I'm doing here with some bushes. So I'm just trying to rough in some greenery. Again, like I said, I can come back and put some details in, but I'm just trying to get in some bush-like shapes in here. I have no idea what I'm doing. Does everyone know that? You get that, don't you? I just don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get different color blends in there. You know, I do want this to be all mostly green bushes. And there's going to be rows of trees and everything in here. But let's just get these bushes in and some texture. To me, the whole point of using a palette knife is to get texture. I like the texture. And then I can do with it what I will. We're getting there. I ran out of paint. More paint. All right, that's the end of the Q&A section of the video. And I have been doing a little bit more on here. I'm getting some texture into the mountains and a bit of white in there. This is how I finished up with the bushes for now, and I've added a green in there, and there's a lot more to go on this. And I just want to share with you the reason I'm sharing with you my painting. I'm not a professional, but I love it. What I want to share with you is that you can enjoy art. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just enjoy it. Just enjoy the process. It's a different way of thinking. Just give it a go. It doesn't have to be expensive. You can buy cheap canvases, cheap paints, cheap palette knives, cheap brushes, and just go for it. Have fun. I want to share with you. I share my art a lot on my newsletter just to share that you can just do it and have fun. It doesn't experiment. It's okay. But on that note, if any of you out there have any suggestions, I've kind of shown you my process. Any suggestions, with kindness, please share them in the comments. I will read them and take them on board and see what I think. I might try that, might not, whatever. But yeah, let me know what you think, because I'm really just making this up as I go along, but I am really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the process. Like, this is what a great way to spend my day. This is what I mean about spending my day well. This to me is a day very well spent. I will sleep very well tonight. I will feel very satisfied in my soul having done this. All right, thanks for being here, everybody. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you can hype the video, please. You've all done really well in the past with hyping my videos. I really appreciate it. And I will see you on the next one. Bye for now. So this is where I've got to with the landscape painting right before I upload this video. I do have plans for a few more things, but again, if anyone has any suggestions, I would love to hear them in the comments below. Thank you so much.